Time passes by with a multitude of changes, and every day can pass.
All new places, different faces in a world where changes everywhere you turn.
Find a friend you can rely on.
Hold the helping hand that shares. Keep the company that will truly care.
Medicare.
The company that doctors build.
Medicare.
The caring and the expertise. We're here
To serve you through the years,
for all that life may bring. We're here to help your family live in health and grow your dreams. The company that doctors build.
Medicare.
The caring and the expertise.
Finding
Medicard, Medicard, find the healthcare that you need
in Medicare.
Oh, right. The letter of approval for my eye checkup. I think that came in yesterday. Let me check the app. There it is. I can go see my doctor now. I swear, if I didn't have a healthcare plan, I wouldn't think to look out for myself.
It's been really hectic lately at the store, and we almost didn't have time for my employees' annual checkup. Good thing Medicard does on-site testing. We can continue with business as usual, and my employees don't have to do more work to get their health checked. Thank God for Medicard.
I used to be able to do it all, but I'm too old to spend my time on long queues. That's aging for you, I suppose. Being able to do these tests at home brings me so much comfort.
We've come a long way in building a healthcare system that lives up to what we aim to be, to serve as the lifeline of our clients, a bridge to health. 35 years, fueled by a desire to make healthcare affordable and accessible to everyone, inspired by the trust of our clients. We want our members to feel like they can enjoy their lives to the fullest, that they can give their best shot in pursuing their aspirations because they are in their best of health, and that they can take comfort in knowing that the healthcare they need is just within their reach. Thank you for entrusting your health to us. It's what we're here for.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another session of Medicare Wellness, our first in 2023. I am Dr. Pauline Faustino, and I will be your host this afternoon. It is timely that we get things in perspective at the start of the new year so we can be more productive and efficient. Our speaker will help us by focusing on the following: by identifying the common health and nutrition problems among adults in the new year, discuss the lifestyle factors and its relationship to maintaining good health, and provide practical tips to improve nutrition, exercise, sleep, mental, and spiritual well being to achieve a healthier lifestyle. We invite everyone to participate through the session. We will also invite those watching through Facebook to join us in Zoom. We have provided the link in the comment section. So I won't keep you waiting. Please allow me to introduce today's speaker. The speaker is our very own nutritionist dietitian at the Medicare Lifestyle Center. She has been with us since 2019. Prior to joining Medicare, she has served as a nutritionist dietitian in Fitness Gourmet PH and Fitness First Philippines. She was also a clinical nutritionist for San Pablo College's Medical Center in San Pablo City, Laguna. With years of experience in the therapeutic nutrition, hospital, and commercial food service administration, our speaker also creates nutrition care plan for weight and disease management. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker for today, registered nutritionist dietitian, Ms. Jerrica B.
Hi, Doc Pauline. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Medicard members. So, for this afternoon, let me share my slides first. So for this afternoon, we will be discussing healthy lifestyle in 2023. So we ended up last year with some guidelines on how we can enjoy the holiday season without a guilt. And now we'd like to provide some practical tips on how to become healthier this 2023. So to start, let me show you an overview of our presentation. So first, we will discuss the common health problems among adults, as well as the different lifestyle factors and its importance in maintaining good health, such as nutrition, exercise, sleep, mental and spiritual well-being. I will also be discussing practical tips on improving your nutrition, exercise, sleep, mental, and spiritual. Also, after this, I will provide a summary. Also, since if this is your first time attending my webinar, you all know that I want it to be very interactive. So in between topics, I will be providing polls. So I hope you can participate in answering those polls. So to start, here are the common health problems among adults. First is weight gain, overweight, and obesity. So according to the recent National Nutrition Survey, 1 out of 3 Filipinos are overweight. So this may be due to the lack of physical activities and overconsumption of unhealthy food items. It could be high calories with non-nutritive value. Also, lifestyle disorders are common health problems among adults. These are hypertension, prediabetes or diabetes, and heart diseases. So, adults, commonly in adults, you are already experiencing hypertension or these lifestyle diseases, maybe due to the unhealthy lifestyle, maybe due to poor eating habits or lack of physical activity, also due to unhealthy lifestyles such as smoking or binge drinking. Also, Filipino adults have increasing rate of prediabetes or they have elevated fasting blood sugar. So this is, we all know that these are the common health problems that we're experiencing nowadays. Aside from these health problems, some adults, young adults, and adults are also experiencing stress and psychological distress. This may be due to work-related, even finances, pressure to succeed, or some health problems. We can also add the current situation, the current pandemic, to add as a it also brought us some anxiety. So we can add that as a cause of stress among adults and young adults as well. So the lifestyle, there's a link between unhealthy lifestyle and these common health problems. So we can associate that your lifestyle, it can worsen or can be the cause of your current health problems. And we should consider the different lifestyle factors in maintenance of good health. So, according to WHO, health is defined as a state of complete physical, mental, social, and physical social well-being, and not merely with the absence of disease or infirmity. That's health, not holistically. If we want to improve our health, we should not focus just on diet alone or diet and exercise. We should improve our health holistically and consider these lifestyle factors. So the different lifestyle factors are nutrition, exercise, sleep, mental and spiritual well-being. So to start with nutrition, okay. So human diet composed of nutrients that manages metabolic processes. Human diet, be it food or drinks, um, these are important in maintaining our health. So for macronutrients, carbohydrates, protein, and fats, these are important because they provide us energy. For the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals are necessary to maintain our growth. And for the non-nutritive, fiber and polyphenols. So to start, fiber is important because it acts as it has no nutrient value, but it can have some beneficial effects to us in terms of health. Because fiber, it adds bulk to your feces. It also adds moisture, so it reduces your fecal transit time, as well as it can fill your stomach, so you will feel full. So it's beneficial for weight loss. And soluble fiber in particular, it helps delays glucose absorption, and also it reduces cholesterol and triglyceride levels. So for the polyphenols, on the other hand, this is a plant compound that is present in our fruits, vegetables. These are has some health benefits because they act as antioxidants. So also it also aids in the absorption of vitamins and minerals in your fruits and vegetables. Also, there's a phenomenon we call nutrition transition, wherein there's a shift from the traditional diet, which is we're eating whole grains as well as home cooked meals, to this modernized version of food habits, which is we consume more processed food, more westernized food items. So along with the sedentary behavior, with this shift, most adults or most people are experiencing lifestyle diseases, or it affects our overall health. Both undernutrition and overnutrition actually can cause loss of nutrients or energy balance, thus it can trigger cellular distress. So in a short period of time, our body can adapt to these changes because of undernutrition, overnutrition, nagkakaroon ng imbalance sa body natin. But in the long run, it can cause diseases. Also, the consumption of low energy density food, so meaning low-calorie food and with high nutrient diversity, can help minimize cellular stress and promote optimal cellular function and health. So this is advice that we consume low-calorie food items with high nutrient diversity. So aside from nutrition, we should also take into consideration physical activity or exercise. So physical activity refers to any bodily movement produced by skeletal muscles that requires energy expenditure. Both moderate and vigorous intensity exercises have health benefits. So any physical activity, whether mild lang siya, moderate, vigorous, it can provide positive health effects on our body. Also, it prevents and manages non-communicable diseases such as heart diseases, diabetes, and several cancers. It can also avert hypertension and maintain healthy weight and improve your mental and health well-being. So we will discuss this further later. So aside from diet and nutrition, it's also important to consider your sleep or rest. I think this is often neglected, that we should consider in maintenance of good health, that we should be resting well. So sleep is defined as an essential biological function with major roles roles in recovery, energy conservation, and survival. It is beneficial in improving brain performance and memory, emotional and social intelligence, and prevents depression. So it can also lower weight gain risk, better calorie regulation, lower chance of heart disease, and reduce inflammation and stronger immune system. So because if we lack sleep or we didn't rest that well, the tendency is our body, nagbabago yung routine natin. So it affects our food choices, food habits, and internally, it can also induce inflammation kasi hindi tayo masyado nakapahinga. Aside from sleep, we should also consider our mental and spiritual well-being. So aside from stress, this is often neglected as well. So our mind is very powerful actually. It does not just control our thoughts and emotion, it also affects our physical health. So mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It influences the way we think, feel, and act. It also determines how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. For example, so I guess most of us experiences every Monday that we have a really low energy, a low mood every Friday. We call it Monday blues. So when we feel very low, we have a low mood, we feel very sad, it affects also our eating habits. Sometimes we either lose or increase our appetite. It also, meron tayong, we don't have that urge to do anything. So we feel very lazy. And also, low yung energy. So your mind, your thoughts, your emotions affect your physical performance as well. So mental health issues increase the risk of physical health, problems such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and reciprocally, these chronic conditions can increase risk of mental illness. Okay, so upon knowing the different lifestyle factors, we will, before we start, on the slides on how to improve it and some practical tips, I want you guys to answer this poll. So can we show the poll now? So for the first question, which of the following is not an example of common health problems among adults? Is it weight gain, diabetes mellitus, skin infection, or stress? So question number 2, according to WHO, how can we define health? Question number 3, is this is true or false? Consumption of high calorie dense and low nutrient diversity food items can help minimize cellular stress and promote optimal cellular function and health. And last question will be another true or false. Mental health influences the way we think, feel, and act. True or false? So let's wait for our participants to answer the questions.
So, Jerrica, I'd like to mention that currently we have 234 participants in this meeting. So, we're very happy that a lot of people are interested to be healthy this 2020.
Okay, so we almost reached the half of our participants for answering the questions. Okay, so let's discuss the answers. Okay, Doc Pauline, are we in? So for the first question, which of the following is not an example of common health problems among adults? It's skin infections because usually adults experience weight gain, diabetes mellitus, as a lifestyle disorder, and stress. So health can be defined as a state of complete and physical mental well-being. So correct. And then this is a very tricky question actually. So consumption of high calorie dense and low nutrient dense. Actually, this is false. So we need to consume low calorie food items with high nutrient diversity to help us minimize cellular stress and promote optimal cellular function. So for the last question, yes, mental health influences the way we think, feel, and act. So this is also important. Okay, to continue, so how can we improve our nutrition, exercise, sleep, mental, and spiritual health? So let's start with nutrition first. Okay. So eat a variety of foods every day. So we need to consume different kinds of food every day. So there's no single food that can provide you with all the nutrients that you need. So it's better to consume it from different sources. And also, consume more whole grains and fiber-rich foods. We discussed it previously that fiber is very important. It has a good effect on your health. So fiber, just to recap, fiber, insoluble fiber, the roughages of your vegetables or your fruits and grains can help you fill your stomach so you won't feel very full. So you will feel full and for a long period of time. So it can help you fill your stomach. And also it also affects or it also change the texture of your stool. It adds moisture. It provides bulk. So para mabilis siya, yung mabilis yung intestinal transit niya, as well as soluble fiber. This is very important. Soluble fiber, it can delay glucose absorption and reduces triglyceride and cholesterol level. So fruits and vegetables, it is recommended to have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day. Because aside from fiber, fruits and vegetables contain vitamins and minerals that is necessary to maintain our body processes. So it's better to consume these vitamins and minerals through food, in a form of food, rather than synthetic form, because it can be easily absorbed by the body and also it has more antioxidant properties through polyphenols as discussed earlier. Also, we should be consuming omega-3 rich foods. So we can get it from fatty fish and some seeds and nuts. So omega-3 rich foods or omega-3 alpha linoleic acid, it is important in regulation of your blood clot, contraction, and relaxation of artery walls. And also, it lowers inflammation. So we need to consume 2 to 3 times per week of these omega-rich foods, be it in a form of fatty fishes, seeds such as flax seeds, chia seeds, seaweeds, walnuts, and beans. Also, please consume plant-based protein sources such as kidney beans, edamame, mung beans, pulses, and tofu. So to reduce saturated fats that we get mostly from meats and dairy products, we should consume more plant-based proteins because aside from proteins, it also contains fiber that we need, diba? So please consume more whole grains, fruits and vegetables, omega-3 rich foods, and plant-based protein sources. We should also be consuming 2 to 3 liters of water per day. So it is necessary to stay hydrated and consume this amount of water per day. Kasi sometimes we tend to get dehydrated. Minsan mas akala natin nagugutom tayo but we're just dehydrated. Also, if you're dehydrated, mas napapansin ko, pag low yung amount ng water per day, mas mataas yung iba nilang blood chemistry like uric acid. So it's important to consume 2 to 3 liters of water per day. And if you are fond of drinking smoothies or juice or vegetable juice or fruit juices, please limit it to half cup per day because the natural sugar from fruits and vegetables can, kapag nag-consume siya ng marami, syempre, it can add up to your sugar allowance per day. So just limit it to half cup per day. And it's best to consume fruits and vegetables as a whole para kasama yung fiber. And also, please limit to consume the following items. So first is saturated fat. So saturated fat, any fats that is solid at room temperature. So high consumption of saturated fat can elevate your bad cholesterol levels as well as your triglycerides. So ano ba yung mga saturated fats? Examples are meats, pork, beef, chicken with skin, processed meats, butter, lard, and cream, full-fat dairy or cheese, and also ice cream and tropical oils, coconut oil, palm oil, or palm kernel oil. So the recommendation will be less than 5 to 6% of your total calories from fat should come from saturated fats. So we should limit our intake of saturated fats. Another one will be we should limit our intake of processed refined grains and added sugar. So processed refined grains, you can get it from white breads or yung mga pastries made of refined flour. Also added sugar from sweetened beverages, sodas, or our favorite drinks. So we have to reduce the intake of these because excess intake of these food items that are high in glycemic index can increase our blood sugar levels. Also, we should be reducing salt or sodium intake. So typical Filipinos consume about 11 grams of salt or 4 grams of sodium per day, which is double the recommended for adults, which is less than 5 grams of salt or 2 grams of sodium per day. So we really need to reduce it because high consumption of sodium can elevate your blood pressure levels, as well as it can bring you some kidney diseases if in excess yung consumption natin ng sodium. So actually, sodium is widely available siya or part of food, especially meats, even root crops, it contains sodium. So we have to limit the consumption of the added salt or added condiments that we're putting in our food. Kasi may natural occurring na po na sodium sa mga pagkain natin. So you have to reduce condiments such as soy sauce, oyster sauce, ketchup, even fish sauce or barbecue sauce, because these are condiments that can add up to your sodium intake. Also, as Filipinos, we're very fond of our breakfast viands which are longganisa or mga tocino. They contain high amount of sodium because sodium are used in processed foods, canned goods, not just canned goods and instant foods, but also it can also preserve kasi it can expand the storage of the food. So some manufacturers add sodium not just for canned goods or instant food, but also for mga common natin na ulam to prolong its shelf life. So we have to reduce salt and sodium. Also, we have to reduce alcoholic drinks. So alcoholic drinks, it has high calories. It's 7 calories per gram of alcohol. And also, it has no nutritive value, meaning wala po siyang nutrients. So it has high calories. So we all know if we consume a lot of energy and if we don't spend it, we will just store it. So excess consumption of alcohol can increase your weight. Also, it affects your food intake, food habits, food choices. Because if you're drunk and you have hangover, the tendency is either you oversleep and you skip a meal, or you overeat on your next meal. And also, it affects the absorption of the different nutrients. So for example, vitamin A, C, and E, it affects its absorption as well as B complex. So we have to limit intake, again, of saturated fats, processed refined grease and added sugar, salt and sodium, and alcoholic drinks. So aside from these, we have to also avoid. So we have consume more, limit, and we have finally what food items are we going to avoid. So trans fatty acids and partially hydrogenated oils, we have to remove it from our diet or avoid it. So I will discuss it further. So trans fatty acid, it has two forms. So one is the natural occurring trans fatty acids from the meats and dairy products. Its health effects is not yet um conclusive. If it has negative effects, or is it just the same as saturated fat. But we have to be very cautious in consuming the commercially available, commercially formed trans fatty acids that I will be discussing further. So commercial trans fatty acid is believed, or most researchers have found that this kind of trans fatty acids can have bad effects on our health. So it can increase the risk, actually, of it can raises your blood cholesterol levels and triglyceride. Also, women, they found out that women with high trans fatty acid serum levels, or high trans fatty acid levels in their blood, have twice risk on having breast cancer. Also, it can alter their immune response, and it can also increase their insulin resistance, hence diabetes. And also, it can lead to excess intake can lead to weight gain. So we should be very cautious on consuming trans fatty acids from commercially produced or artificial trans fatty acids. So why does these companies or manufacturers use these trans fatty acids? Kasi what they do, they add hydrogen to the vegetable oil to make it stable or solid. So they use it because it is easy to use, it is inexpensive, it can also prolong the shelf life of the food, and it adds also for the flavor and texture of the food. It adds a desirable texture and flavor of the food. But we have to be very cautious in consuming it because it has bad effects. So the examples of trans fatty acids are mga big products that uses shortenings or margarines, because shortenings and margarines are partially hydrogenated oils, meaning they are vegetable oils first, but they add hydrogen to make it more solid or stable para magamit sa baking. So these are yung mga ginagamit sa baking for cookies, donuts, or even pastries. Also, some prepackaged snacks such as microwavable popcorns, pretzels, chips, biscuits, chocolate bars, and wafers. Also, your breakfast cereals. They may contain trans fatty acids. And also, yeah, we all know the oil that they're using for fried meals. So your hamburgers, your French fries, or nuggets, and um, nuggets are they are fried using trans fatty acids. Also, surprisingly, non-dairy creamers, they also contain partially hydrogenated oils. So as you can see here, the nutrition label says it has no trans fat, but in the ingredients, it mentions partially hydrogenated sunflower oil or cottonseed oil. So these are trans fats as well. Also, your favorite spreads or margarines contains trans fatty acids. So we should be very worried or careful on reading nutrition facts. It's very important that you check the nutrition facts and the ingredients as well. So sometimes they don't put trans fat, or they include trans fat because the amount is very low. But in the ingredients list, you can see partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. So it can also contain trans fats. Also, currently in the Philippines, there's a multisectoral campaign headed by international UN agencies that promotes eradication of trans fat products in the Philippines. So the campaign is called Trans Fat Free Philippines. So the goal is to eradicate or remove industrial produced fatty acids by 2023 in our country. So and also last 2021, the FDA issued a guidelines wherein the prepackaged food items containing trans fatty acids should be eliminated. So it prohibits the inclusion of trans fat or partially hydrogenated oil, or oils that mix with trans fat or partially hydrogenated oils in our prepackaged food items. So it's a good news for us because with the agencies, different agencies as well as the government, they're trying to implement this kind of movement to finally eradicate the production of trans fatty acids in our country. Okay, so aside from food, we'll be discussing exercise. So the recommended exercise for adults, actually it has different kinds, but the recommendation will be this. For adults, we should be working out moderate intensity aerobic exercises 150 minutes per week, or any vigorous intensity aerobic exercises for 75 minutes per week. So the examples of moderate intensity aerobic exercises will be, it's any exercise that will hit 64 to 76% of your maximum heart rate. So it can be walking fast, or brisk walking, dancing, water aerobics, riding a bike with a light effort, siguro sa highway or sa sa flat lang ng lugar, and running. So aside from moderate intensity exercise, it also recommended that we alter it, or we can choose between moderate or vigorous intensity exercises. So vigorous intensity exercises are any exercise that where your maximum heart rate will reach 77% or 93%. So that will be single tennis, jumping rope, swimming lapses, soccer, or running. So aside from aerobic exercises, it is also important that we should be working out our muscles. So it's recommended to have moderate to vigorous muscle strengthening activities twice a week. So some examples of resistance or weight training, this is not just merely lifting weights or doing calisthenics, but also swimming, climbing, yoga, HIIT, and some power dancing. So these are activities that can help improve your muscles. So for an example, kung ano ba yung workout routine na gagawin natin. So you can have 5 times a week of 30 minutes moderate intensity aerobic exercises, and twice a week of moderate muscle strengthening activities. Or you can have thrice a week of 25 minutes per day of vigorous intensity exercises, aerobic exercises, and twice a week of vigorous weight training exercises. As you get used to being active, increase your time and intensity. So it depends on you. If you want to prolong the time, so from 30 minutes, you will do 45 minutes, or increase the intensity of your exercises. If it's muscle strengthening activities, you can increase the weights or intensity naman ng aerobic exercises, mas mabilis mo siyang gagawin. And limit time spent being sedentary. Okay, so these are some examples on how you can maximize even the simplest exercise that you're doing. So even a 10 minutes of stretching, it's like walking the length of a football field. So we should be doing some 10 minutes of stretching, kasi some of us may be asking, paano mag-exercise, sobrang busy. Or even yung 22.5 hours of walking every week for a year, it can be also beneficial for us. Or even 30 minutes of single tennis, and also an hour of dancing, 20 minutes of vacuuming, or just 30 minutes every other week of grocery shopping. So any form of physical activities, actually, this is not just boxed with an exercise routine, but also your household chores, or just simply walking to and from work can add up as your physical activity. So we go now to sleep and recovery. So good sleep habits can help you wake up feeling energized and prepared for the day ahead. So para maiwasan natin yung mga Monday blues, we need to have good sleep habits. So adults should be having 7 to 9 hours of sleep per day. The amount of sleep actually matters, but also the timing. So your body and your mind work best with a scheduled routine to keep your biological rhythm synced. So make sure to sleep same time every day to avoid disruption of routine. So that's why sometimes we feel very sluggish the next day because we sleep late. Kaya nababago yung rhythm ng tulog natin. So aside from the quality of the amount of sleep, which is 7 to 9, also practice that you sleep same time every day. Also, to help you sleep better, here are some uh, ways on how to set your bedtime routine. First, set an alarm to go to sleep. So instead of setting your alarm to wake up, set an alarm to go to sleep. So as I mentioned earlier, the timing of sleep is very important. If you sleep every different time every day, your body will have a hard time adjusting, and you will have not wala kang hindi ka magkakaroon ng biological rhythm kasi paiba-iba yung routine. So I think this will be very difficult for people with with shift work kasi naiiba siya. Iiba yung routine talaga or hindi nagsisync ng maayos yung body natin. Also, manage stress through meditation. So use relaxation techniques to put you in a proper mindset to sleep. You can to sleep. So also, you can wind down by reading a book, or just instead of watching TV or scrolling through social media, why not read a book or write a journal to help you unwind? So kasi kapag mga TV or your phone, too much screen time can make you more alert than instead of winding down. Also, some tips: charge your device somewhere other than next to your bed. So it will keep you from checking it from time to time. Also, dim your bedroom. So make your bedroom conducive for sleeping. So avoid yung bedroom mo, nandun na rin yung workplace mo kasi you will associate it to working. Also, use the do not disturb function to block notifications during sleep hours. This is could actually addition to your cell phone to put do not disturb on your hours of sleep. So actually I do this. So I try to sync my biological rhythm. So I sleep the same time every day, and I put my phone on do not disturb mode every 9 p.m. So I will avoid para hindi ko narinig yung mga notifications. Para hindi na madi-disrupt if you're trying to meditate at 9 because you're trying to sleep by then, para hindi ka na nadi-disrupt. Okay. Also, to avoid delay in your sleep onset, we should be avoiding the following. So first is caffeine. Your caffeine stays in the body for 8 hours. So dapat after lunch maybe or after 2 p.m. we should not be consuming caffeine. So caffeine, you can get it from coffee, black tea, sodas, or energy drinks. So you have to avoid it 8 hours before our sleep. Also, alcoholic drinks because they can affect the quality of sleep. Also, do not smoke because smoking is associated with severity of insomnia, as well as it shortens the time of sleep. So it can affect also the quality of your sleep. So we should be avoiding caffeine, alcoholic drinks, and smoking to prevent delay in our sleep. Also, avoid vigorous exercises not less than 3 hours before your sleeping time. So, because kapag nag-exercise pa tayo 3 hours before sleeping, less than 3 hours before sleeping time, it makes us more alert kasi mataas pa yung adrenaline natin. So, it will just affect our sleep. It will just delay our sleep. Ayan. So before I proceed with the mental and spiritual health, we will have a poll. So Doc Pauline, can you show us the poll? So let's answer these questions. First, which of the following food items should be limited in our diet? A, brown rice, wheat bread; B, pork, beef, corned beef, salmon and sardines; tofu, kidney beans, and pulses. Question number 2, how often should we exercise? So there's 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercises and twice a week muscle strengthening activities, 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercises per week and twice a week of muscle strength exercises. C, 60 minutes of combined moderate intensity exercises. Question number 3, which of the following sleep hygiene practices should be followed? A, avoid caffeine, alcohol, drinks, and smoking. Set an alarm to go to sleep. Charge your devices somewhere other than next to your bed, or all of the above. So let's answer the questions. Let's wait for the others to Gotcha. Okay. Let's wait for the others to answer the questions.
Can you hear
Okay,
me now,
almost half of
Jerrica?
participants
Yeah.
answered the questions. Okay, so for the first question, sorry, which of the following food items should be limited? So correct answer, pork, beef, and corned beef because this contains saturated fat and a lot of sodium. For the second question, correct answers A and B. So we can do either 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercises or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercises. Which of the following sleep hygiene practices should be followed? The answer is all of the above. So we should be avoiding caffeine, alcoholic drinks, and smoking. Set an alarm to go to sleep and charge your devices somewhere other than your bed. Okay, so thank you for participating in our second set of poll questions. To continue, so we're now going to the mental and spiritual health. So how can we achieve the mental and spiritual well-being? So there's a 5 steps. I created the 5 steps of mental and steps to mental well-being. First is to connect with other people. So it's good relationships actually are important to your mental well-being. So it helps build a sense of belonging and self-worth. It also gives you opportunity to share positive experience, and also it can provide emotional support. Aside from connecting with other people, we should be also physically active. So aside from the health benefits of exercising, it can also improve our mental well-being. So it can raise our self-esteem, and also it can set goals or challenges and achieve them. Also, these hormones are um, it releases endorphins or happiness and pleasure and chemicals, and dopamine, the feel good chemical. So it's important that we exercise not just for health and but also for our mental well-being. Also, we can learn new skills. So find a hobby that you find interesting, be it in art, photography, pottery, or any sports that you like. So it can boost your self confidence, and also it can raise your self-esteem. It can also build the sense of purpose and help you also connect with other people, kasi especially if this activities requires you to mingle with other people or ginagawa mo siya with other people. Also, be kind and give to others. It pays to be kind and giving. So be involved in any community or organizational work that benefits the community. So it creates positive feelings and sense of reward. It also there's a feeling of purpose and self-worth, and also it can help you connect with other people. And lastly, sorry, pay attention to the present moment or being mindful. So being mindful can help you understand yourself better. It can also positively change the way how you feel about life and how you approach challenges. So we will discuss mindfulness further. So what is mindfulness? I think you always um find this word recently through lifestyle and health wellness groups. So mindfulness is paying attention to what is going on inside and outside ourselves moment by moment. It also helps us become aware of our thoughts and feelings that we experience and to understand why we think and feel that way. For example, a practice of mindfulness. Every morning when you shower, don't think about your meeting for that day or the errands that you will do that day. Just focus on showering, being mindful on what you're going to do or what you're doing for that particular moment, and not just thinking about the future or thinking ahead. Also, awareness of this kind may help us notice signs of stress and anxiety earlier and manage it better. So how can we practice mindfulness? First, notice the sensation of things, the food we eat, the air moving past the body as we walk. So sometimes we're living a very fast-paced life. We tend to forget the senses, the food that we're eating. Kasi minsan sinasabay nating food sa working. So we don't really feel or taste, we don't really taste the food or chew the food properly. The air moving past us. So as we walk, mas iniisip natin gagawin natin sa trabaho. So hindi natin nafe-feel o nararamdaman our environment. Also, set a schedule any time of the day where you practice to be aware of the sensations created by the world around you. So set a time to meditate and reflect or to be mindful on that day. So it can serve as your meditation time or set a schedule to meditate. Also, name thoughts and feelings and different thoughts or feelings from anxiety. For example, this morning you feel that you will disappoint your boss. So I have this feeling that I will disappoint my boss. You can, by mindfulness, you can now differentiate it by either is this just a thought, or I'm just being anxious, or this is just an anxiety. So you will differentiate thoughts or feelings from anxiety. So instead of baka feeling mo lang yon, this is just your thought, pero hindi naman talaga yun yung nangyayari. Also, free yourself from past problems or pre-living future worries. So stop ruminating about your past, especially past problems, or being too anxious about the future. So you have to live for today, live for the moment. So sometimes we tend to forget about this, to live now or live for today, and sometimes mas naging advanced tayo, naging anxious tayo for the future, but we're not savoring or we're not living really today. And it really affects our mental health. Kasi pag anxious tayo for the future, mas lalong iniisip natin siya, whereas dapat i-enjoy lang natin yung moment now. Okay, and for the last set of my poll questions, Doc Pauline, can we show them the questions? Okay, can we show them the poll? Okay, for our first question, mental well-being can be achieved by connecting with other people, learning new skills, being kind and giving to others. True or false? Second question, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness paying attention to what is going inside. Sorry, I have to check. Going inside and outside ourselves, moment by moment. Or mindfulness is focusing on the sight, sound, smell, taste of present moment. Mindfulness can help us identify stress, anxiety earlier and manage it better. So last question, which of the following is an example of mindfulness? Sitting in one corner and listening to a meditation podcast, appreciating the appearance of food, noticing how it smells and tastes, exercising while listening to music, and contemplating about the past and how it affects our future. So let's wait for the others to answer the question. Okay, all answers in. Okay, so for the results, okay, for the first question, it is true. Mental well-being can be achieved by connecting with other people, learning new skills, and being kind and giving to others. So mindfulness, actually all of the above. The answer is all of the above. So which of the following is an example of mindfulness? Oh, this is a very tricky question. So the answer actually is B, appreciating the appearance of food. Kasi sometimes when we listen to meditation podcast, we just listen to the meditation podcast, but we're not being mindful. And yung exercising while listening to music, actually multitasking na siya kasi you're exercising, also listening to music. So the answer is B. So appreciating and the appearance of food, noticing how it feels to our body. Okay. So to end my presentation, I'll be presenting the summary. So the common health problems among adults are weight gain, lifestyle disorders, stress, and psychological stress. The different lifestyle factors are nutrition, exercise, sleep, mental, and spiritual well-being. So to achieve good nutrition, we should be eating balanced meal, consuming more plant-based food items and less unsaturated fat, sodium, added sugar, and we should be avoiding trans fatty acids, especially the commercial form. Also, we should be engaging in moderate intensity aerobic exercises or vigorous intensity aerobic exercises and twice a week of muscle strengthening activities. We should sleep 7 to 9 hours per day and same time every day. Practice sleep hygiene. Mental well-being can be achieved by connecting to other people, learning new skills, being kind and giving to others, and also practicing mindfulness, that is paying attention to what we feel, think, and surrounding the environment. So that's the end of, here are my references, and thank you for listening and participating to the pause. So the floor is now open for questions. Doc Pauline.
Yes, thank you very much, Jerrica, for that very filled presentation. So I invite everyone to give Jerrica a virtual clap. Thank
Mhm.
you. So we'll be reading questions sent in our chat box, but we also received some questions through the registration, so we will include them later in the discussion. So maybe we start with the questions that we have here in the chat box. While you were discussing food, nutrition, there was a question here on what about muesli and dried fruits, if it's okay to take.
Mostly in dried fruits. Actually, for mostly, it is a good source of fiber, so you can include it. But I'm actually talking about the common food items that we Filipinos are consuming. But if it fits your budget and you're okay with it, just be wary of the added sugar. So, kasi yung minsan yung mga mostly, pre-pack na siya. So, they add sugar in it. So, just avoid yung may mga added sugar. And for the dried fruits, as long as um hindi po siya sweetened, kasi sometimes when we dry fruits, we do it just to prolong the shelf life of the fruit. And then sometimes we add sugar kasi syempre nawawala yung moisture niya. So wala yung taste. So sometimes they add sugar. So in essence, so if you will be consuming these food items kasi it's very popular din nowadays. So just check if it contains added sugar. So if hindi naman, then it's good to add it in your diet. But also, the best way pa rin is from fresh fruits and vegetables. If you want to consume fruits.
Okay, thank you, Jerrica. Here's a question related to sleep. How about using melatonin, over-the-counter melatonin pills?
Melatonin. Yes, actually, the health effects is not conclusive, but it depends on your doctor. If your doctor advised you to take, then be it. So, but first, we should be practicing correct proper sleep hygiene first before consuming yung mga over-the-counter supplements. So, it's best pa rin that you yourself you practice sleeping the same time every day and then matulog at 7 to 9. But I understand that some people are having a hard time getting their sleep. So siguro kung i-practice muna natin or to avoid yung mga factors that delays your sleep. So and then saka, but I think your doctor will still recommend it if you need so.
Okay, thank you. There's one question here. How much calories ba I take per day? So maybe, of course, we cannot. We usually you customize it based on the consultation. Maybe you can explain how you go about a consultation and what they will expect should they schedule one.
Yes. So for the calorie requirement, we have different requirements every per day, and every people have different calorie requirements. So it depends on your lifestyle, your current nutrition health status, as well as your age and gender. So we compute it. So first we assess your nutrition. So what we do here in the clinic, we assess first your nutritional status, and then we compute for your calorie requirement. And if you have health condition, we also factor that. on how we compute your calorie requirement. So we have different calorie requirements. It's best that na magpa-consult po para malaman natin siya.
Thank you, Jerrica. So here's another question: a personalized diet program for fatty liver, pre-diabetic, and hypertensive. So it's still best that they seek consult directly now.
Yes, opo. If you have any health condition and we're trying to lose weight, it's best to magpa-consult na lang po first to properly assess po for proper assessment.
Yes, okay. So what is the best way to healthily lose weight? I think you'd mentioned some earlier already, but would you add pa to that?
On how to lose weight. So for losing weight, we will just not focus on diet and exercise, but also include your sleeping habits and also your behavior or your food practice. So kailangan talaga holistic yung approach natin. So I can help you achieve that. So kailangan pa rin natin ng consultation, sorry. So but yeah, in essence, so that's why we're doing it. We should consider your nutrition, your sleep, your exercise, and also your behavior or your mental well-being. Kasi hindi siya mag-work talaga if we're just focusing on your nutrition and stuff or just exercising.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Jerrica. So here's another question: is drinking pure buko juice beneficial? What fruits ang pwede kainin everyday that will help lose weight?
Okay, fruits are very beneficial kasi they contain vitamins and minerals. So, kung what kind of fruit is best, actually wala namang best na fruit. So, kailangan makonsume pa rin natin iba't ibang klase because this, for example, for apple, they have soluble fiber, and whereas yung banana, you have potassium. So, iba-iba. So, berries, they have a lot of antioxidants. So, any fruit will provide you different kinds of nutrients. So, it's best to consume it yung iba-iba per day, or hindi siya laging everyday lang banana or everyday lang papaya. So to get the other nutrients from other food items. So yun po. So in terms of losing weight, it's also aside from the quality of nutrients na makukuha natin sa mga food items na to, we should also be considering also the amount of calories. So doon papasok kung how much food items yung kailangan nyo pong i-consume. And we usually do it in a clinic. We compute so the nutrition care plan basically is we compute for your calorie requirement and we provide you with the meal plan. So naka-specify kung gaano karami yung food items na kakainin nyo lang per day. So that's how we do it po.
Okay. Here's another question: are all sugar-free food or drinks okay to consume?
Okay, for the sugar-free, okay, it depends on what kind of sweetener they're using, because I'm not really fond of or I'm not really recommending yung mga chemical na sweeteners. So if they provide or they give you kung ang sweetener na ginamit na will be natural, good. But in the long run, yung parang taste kasi natin kapag nag-consume tayo ng mga sugar-free na food items, andun pa rin yung kahiligan natin sa matamis, o parang nagkaroon pa rin tayong urge to eat more sweet. So siguro on some days, if we're craving for sweet, we can consume that. But on a daily basis, I won't advise kasi nandun pa rin, parang natotolerate pa rin yung pagkikilig sa sweet food items. Sometimes it's just the behavior. We think na we're just sweet tooth, favorite ko talaga ang sweets. But hindi lang talaga, nagiging dependent lang tayo sa food items, or we just associate the feeling na pag kumain ng sweet, mas alert tayo. So more on behavioral, and also yan, hindi ko talaga ina-advise sa consume every day or palagi magde-depend even sa mga sugar-free na food items.
Okay. Third question: what is your comment on cross-training? 60 minutes, 3 times a day. Is it wrong?
Sorry, ano pong drinking?
Cross-training.
Cross-training, 60 minutes. Okay. For training, maximum na po yung an hour a day. So if we exceed pa that, parang mapapagod na po kayo, parang wala na kayo ibang gagawin, di ba? So I guess the maximum training will be 1 hour na po, 30 to 60 minutes lang per day. Kasi baka wala na tayong magawa, parang nag-workout na lang tayo the whole day. So, yun.
So here's one question. There is a direct message. Exercise is good, but may I know what is best for a person with knee problems, since even simple walking or exercise may be difficult.
Okay. So with that, I think the best is to consult with their ortho or sa mga PT. We have PT rin po dito sa Medical Lifestyle. So yeah, for may mga knee problems, yung mga ballistic exercises o yung mga tumatalon, kasi pag tumatalon tayo, di ba, yung bigat nating weight natin na pupunta sa knees din. So iwasan na po siguro yung mga aerobics or mga ballistic exercises. But there are exercises or stretching activities na pwedeng magawa. So I think it's best to consult or your ortho or your PT po, physical therapist for that.
Okay, thank you. So another question, is intermittent diet advisable for weight loss?
Okay, so actually I always get this question, the keto and the intermittent fasting. So for the intermittent fasting, what you do is may prolonged fasting and then you will eat whatever kind or whatever food that you like. So the tendency naman pag gano'n, nag-o-overeat din tayo. So parang nawawala din nawawala din yung pag-fast mo ng matagal kasi kain ka na marami. Plus, it can cause indigestion. So nagkakaroon din tayo ng lagi nating naisip yung food. Kasi, di ba, nagpa-fast tayo. So syempre, gutom tayo. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng preoccupation. Naiisip natin palagi yung food items. Napaparami yung kain natin. So, we really don't advise it because the more you crave for food, nagkakaroon din ng bad relationship with food. So, as nutritionists, we don't teach you to hate food. Well, actually, we want you to love food because food nourishes us. So, you should have a good relationship with it. So, kasi sometimes we associate food na bad siya, di ba? There's no such thing as masamang pagkain actually. Meron lang, we have to lessen it because wala tayong masyadong benefits from it. So yeah, so we don't really advise intermittent fasting, also keto, because more than weight loss, kasi mas priority natin will be our health. So it can affect our health kasi with this eating habits or fad diets.
Okay. Since you mentioned the intermittent, it was asked about intermittent fasting. Now the question is, what about keto diet? Is it
Yeah, so
okay
for keto diet, actually we do the keto diet for previously, noon pa, for pediatrics with epilepsy, but we do it with with cautions, with amount. But for normal individuals, especially for adults that with comorbidities or with health problems such as hypertension, elevated blood lipids, it is not advisable because you will at some time you will lose weight, but it can increase your blood lipids. So hindi rin siya healthy kasi you will lose weight because you will be consuming mainly fat, tapos you will yung food item mo mainly comes from fat, so it will elevate your blood lipids. You will lose mainly a lot of weight from water weight, but not necessarily from fat. So yun po, it's not beneficial for us in the long run, especially kasi yun po, it can affect our health.
Okay, here's another question. What about a low carb diet?
Low
What's your
carb diet, okay. It depends. Actually, we don't say low carbohydrate diet, we say carbohydrate control diet. It depends kasi minsan yung low carb diet nila will be just eliminating the rice from your diet and then substituting it with bread. So actually it's the same. Bread and rice are carbohydrates. I guess the best is to reduce consumption of the high glycemic food items. As mentioned earlier, you should be reducing intake of refined sugars, refined whole grains, refined grains, and then also the added sugar. So maybe we can start with that, reducing this kind of sugar kasi mataas siya sa glycemic index. But carbs, actually, this is your main source of energy. Don't be afraid of carbs. It's just kailangan lang proper or yung kind ng carbs na i-consume natin, timing and amount. So yun po.
Okay, here's a question related to fruits. I saw in a YouTube video that vitamins or nutrients you get when you blend a fruit is different than when you eat it directly. Is this true?
Actually, it could be possible kasi especially vitamin C kasi evaporate siya agad, or vitamin B complex, mga water-soluble vitamins, nawawala na siya pag hinugasan mo. So kapag sinus mo na siya, baka lower na yung amount. So partly true. So it's really best to consume the fruit as a whole, yung fruit na siya talaga, rather than juicing it kasi nawawala yung fiber, tapos ang vitamins mas nalelesen kapag ano po, sinus na natin siya. And
Okay.
also, yung a lot of polyphenols or nutrients nandun sa balat. So sometimes, yun, dun nawawala na yung some of the nutrients or amount ng mga vitamins.
So it's best to take it as a fruit.
Yes.
Okay. What about meal alternatives like vegetarian burger, tocino, tapa?
Okay, for the vegan meat. So actually, it's a good alternative, but please check on the sodium amount as well. So may nutrition facts naman siya usually, pati anong ginamit na vegan meats or plant-based proteins yung ginamit. So we just check the amount of sodium, baka masyado rin siyang mataas. Also, if it contains partially hydrogenated oil. So if not, pwede naman natin siya i-consume. Or best pa nga, if we do our own tofu patty or tofu burger kasi mas natural, so mas less yung added sodium. So as I mentioned earlier, the manufacturers add sodium to prolong the shelf life of the food and to add syempre sa taste ng mas nakakarami, which is a little saltier than yung sa preferred natin. So yun po.
Related to that, you mentioned on alternative meats like vegan, but what about having a purely vegan diet? What's your comment down?
Okay, it depends actually. Some people are purely vegan talaga, some are just plant-based lang, more on plant-based diet. So it really depends on you. If you go purely vegan, I advise to magpa-consult pa rin kasi there are nutrients na lessen sa'yo, especially vitamin B12, iron, so less siya sa diet. So you need supplementation for that. So but it depends on the person. If he or she can commit to a full vegan diet, it's good. And if the resources are widely available naman, why not? But if hindi, pag hindi naman, so why not try plant-based na lang or mas focus ka sa mga plant-based food items tapos less ang animal meats. So yun po.
Okay, there's a question here related to low carb rice cooker. Are you familiar with it? And if it really works? Low
Yes,
carb
actually,
rice
parang
cooker.
may amount certain, I forgot on how much percentage it reduces I think the ano lang naman, sa starch component. But actually, it's a good ano rin naman po, good invention or good ano rin, practice na gamitin natin pag sa pagluluto ng rice. Or ako, mas preferred ko, kasi kung white rice din naman yung gagamitin natin, di ba? So, mas preferred natin yung mga may color na rice because it has higher fiber. So, we need higher fiber, mas lower yung glycemic index. So, actually, it depends pa rin sa klase ng rice. But yung sa low carb rice, it helps reduce the starch amount po.
Okay, what about eating chia seeds? How much will be enough to
Okay,
consume?
for the chia seeds, it's a good source of omega-3 and 6 and also some protein. So good fat yung source ng a source of good fat in chia seeds. But since alam naman natin chia seeds, when we submerge it to water, it swells. So ganun din yung nangyari sa body natin if we consume it na mas marami, baka magkaroon ng mga indigestion. So what I advise, kung maximum na yung 2 tablespoons per day. Okay, or depending on tolerance. And I advise either grind it or fully or submerge it, let it swell tapos before consuming it para maiwasan natin yung mga indigestion or minsan masakit sa tiyan. Also, it can lead to constipation if we consume it. Since it's a soluble fiber, consume it in large amounts.
Okay, so we had a lot of questions on food and diet. Probably before we leave that topic, what can you say about cheat days?
Cheat days, okay. Do I believe in cheat days? So, as I mentioned, we want you to have a good relationship with food. So, if you associate food as a reward, o medyo ano siya, hindi siya good practice kasi ang tendency, mapapakain ka ng marami or you just associate food with a feeling, parang masayang feeling, a positive feelings, emotion. So, cheat days, it depends kasi minsan, napaparami yung kain natin and what kind of food items ba yung iko-consume natin. So, if we're consuming a lot of yung mga food items na fried meals or mataas yung sugar, hindi rin siya beneficial. So, we want you to have a good relationship with food. So, rather than treating food as a reward, siguro, na lang siya, we consume food na healthier version nila. If you want, or just missing burgers, why not try the plant-based burgers or ibang klaseng burger na lang po. So, yun. So, we don't really advise cheat days kasi mas lalo pa pong napapakain kasi.
Okay. May pahabol sa food-related questions. Quinoa seeds as substitute for rice or intake of collagen drinks. Is it okay?
Okay, for the quinoa, it's okay naman. It's actually quinoa is a seed. So, kaya medyo mababa yung glycemic index niya. So, it's a good alternative to rice. But if it fits your budget, no problem, you can consume it. And then for the collagen drinks, we're really not advising to consume collagen drinks kasi if your concern is for skin, nails and hair, you can't dictate. Pag nag-consume mo ng collagen, di mo naman madidictate yung body mo na, pumunta ka sa collagen, pumunta ka sa skin ko, or collagen, pumunta ka sa hair ko to improve it. So, consuming collagen drinks is not really that beneficial. Actually, some studies concludes that it's not really it's merely placebo, wala masyadong effect if nag-consume ka tsaka sa hindi. So, it's really the balanced diet will improve your collagen production.
Okay, maybe related to that, a question on supplements. What's your comment on supplements?
It depends on what kind
Taking
of supplement. So, we use supplementation if we lack on if our diet lacks on these nutrients, and also if we consume or we're taking medications that affects the absorption of these vitamins. So, supplementation is not really bad as long as kung tama yung paggamit natin. So, yung available sa market natin, yung legally, yung sa mga drugstores, sa mga pharmacy, yung amount ng multivitamins, the amount they have there is actually half of the maximum that we can take. So, enough na po yun. Huwag na po mag-double dosage or mag-consume pa ng iba pa, like magkakaibang vitamin C, tapos inom pa ng ibang klase ng vitamin C form or multivitamins. So, enough na po yun. And also, it's best also to, as I mentioned, it is best to consume it from your food kasi meron siyang kasamang antioxidants that helps also in the absorption of these nutrients. So, that.
Okay, some questions on physical activity. What should one watch out for if meron siyang sedentary lifestyle? Ano mga sakit daw? What kinds of
Okay. If you have sedentary lifestyle, syempre hindi tayo nag-exercise, walang expenditure ng calories na nangyayari. So, yung kino-consume natin, most of the time naman, enough na siya for our daily processes. But anything in excess, store lang din natin siya. So, syempre, ang nangyayari, nagkakos siya, nag-lead siya sa weight gains if sedentary yung lifestyle natin. That's why we really advise. Also, physical activity is not just good for your health, but also in your mental well-being. So, it's best pa rin na to avoid the sedentary lifestyle and to get moving. So, even yung pag-akit baba sa stairs or gagawa ka ng 8,000 to 10,000 steps, pwede na po yun. Considered na siyang physical activity. Pero hindi lang po talaga yung sedentary lifestyle natin. Or the whole day, wala tayong ginawa kundi umupo o kaya mahiga. So, we have to move.
Syempre that if you gain weight, you're prone already to diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. Okay. So in relation to sleep naman daw, although I think you mentioned some already, what are your tips to get good sleep?
Okay. So, first, syempre yung practice sleep hygiene. Unang muna, identify natin ba't di ba tayo nakakatulog ng maayos? So, are we stressed? Or wala tayong specific bedtime routine as mentioned, yung hindi tayo natutulog same time every night. So, yan. So, we factor in, we should be aware on why, kung bakit hindi tayo nakakatulog ng maayos. So, is it our habits? Or is it yung hindi because of stress or masyado tayong preoccupied, masyado tayong maraming ginagawa at the same times at night pa. So we have to factor those to help us fully plot kung ano magandang sleep hygiene sa inyo. But in general, yun po, establish a sleep routine. So every night talaga may same time. But I think nga, yung mga sa mga shift works, mahirapan sila dito. But at least, kung nagpapalit naman kayo every 2 weeks or a month, monthly, so masabi siya doon. And also avoid yung mga stimulants, caffeine, alcoholic drinks, smoking, too much exercise before you sleep. So yun po yung mga tips ko on how to improve your sleeping habits.
Ito here's one question. What would you advise someone who is very sleepy how to get up early naman? Baliktad naman.
How to get
Get up early. If they have problems waking up naman.
waking
They're
up.
sleepy naman
Okay.
daw.
So, with that, wala siyang proper sleep routine. So, kaya minsan nag-overslept o kaya siya, bitin yung sleep. Yun po. So, walang proper bedtime routine. So, dapat meron tayo nun para maiwasan natin yung
Still sleepy.
oversleeping or baka naman pagod masyado kaya nag-oversleep. So, we have to factor in those yung mga ganong situations.
Yes. Here's the question. What can you say about taking coffee in the morning to perk up your day?
Actually, it's not really bad, but my advice with that, if you have problems with your blood sugar levels, since cortisol is very high in the morning, kasi cortisol yung stress hormones natin, di ba? So kasi excess cortisol can increase your blood sugar levels. So parang naka-up tayo lahat, mataas yung stress hormones. So avoid consuming coffee before eating. So dapat not in an empty stomach na lang siya. So maybe after your breakfast, yun, para hindi siya maka-apekto sa cortisol levels. So yun, it's not bad naman to consume coffee in the morning. Yun lang po, yung sa proper timing niya. And also, acidic yung caffeine. So if you consume it before breakfast, wala pang laman yung stomach natin, baka yun. Kaya some people parang nagkakaroon ng hyperacidity when consuming coffee. So yun lang po.
Okay, I think we have this can be the last question kasi we have extended enough, no? But to at least accommodate this, what is your recommendation for athletes? Do they have same nutritional requirements?
Actually, they have different nutritional requirements. Actually, depende pa siya kung anong klaseng activity or sports they're doing. So, it really varies if you're athlete or if you're a normal adult, also with age. So, it really depends yung nutritional requirement nila po.
So best if they consult with the nutritionist.
Yes.
The proper plan diet. Ayan, so to mention that we have received a lot of questions, mostly naman po have been answered through the session of Jerrica, and we also received some questions related to HMO that I can mention, like for example, can we have the blood chemistry? These are tests also for wellness, no, general, to check if their cholesterol is okay. So better have your plans checked through your HR or your HMO coordinator so you can be sure if these are covered. And then you can also have dental. There are also questions on dental because of course dental health is important part of wellness. This will be discussed next month because we will be celebrating the oral health month. So please watch out for our webinar on dental health next month. But so before we go, we would be asking Jerrica to invite them because we had so many questions asking how they can reach out to you and schedule a session. Go ahead.
Yes. Totally. So, if you have further questions about your nutritional status, or any lifestyle related questions, you can schedule an appointment with me. So, my clinic hours in Medicare Lifestyle Center is Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. So, we're still following the strictly by appointment rule. So, just scan this QR code to get your to set an appointment, or just download the Medicard Go app and then look for my name to schedule an appointment. So, I'm available every day. Set an appointment. It's best to set an appointment po.
Okay, thank you, Jerrica.
Thank
So
you.
before we go, we'll be reading our certificate for you today. So the certificate of appreciation is presented to Jerrica Suarez in grateful acknowledgement of her contribution as resource speaker in our virtual session for Medicare Wellness on the topic Healthy Lifestyle, given this 31st day of January 2023, signed by the Health Promotion Department team and yours truly. Thank you very much, Jerrica.
Thank you, Doc Pauline. Thank you, Medicard members. If there are further questions, maybe Doc Pauline can email it to me, or
Yes.
ano po, para masagot po yung mga questions.
Sige,
And we'll
send
be
me the
posting na lang.
questions at least. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Jerrica.
Thank you po.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you have learned from this session. Let us keep ourselves healthy this 2023. Until our next webinar. So keep safe, everyone.
Passes by with a multitude of changes, and every day can pass.
All new places, different faces in a world where changes everywhere you turn.
Find a friend you can rely on.
Hold the helping hand that shares. Keep the company that will truly care. The company that doctors build. The caring and the expertise. We're here
to serve you through the years.
family. Live in health and grow your dreams.
Medicard.
Doctors built
Medicard.
the caring and the expertise.
Finding
Medicard, Medicard, find the healthcare that you need
in Medicard.
Oh, right. The letter of approval for my eye checkup. I think that came in yesterday. Let me check the app. There it is. I can go see my doctor now. I swear, if I didn't have a healthcare plan, I wouldn't think to look out for myself.